Hello, everybody. Welcome to Celestial Soul Temple. So, I didn't write anything down for this. I'm just gonna go with the flow with my thoughts. This is also my first time doing this in public with people just walking around, so it's very new to me and learning to get out of my comfort zone. So, this is a very new experience that I'm learning to relearn. And that's what this is all about, relearning. And that's kind of the topic today. How can we rewire our mind and our perception to create the life that we want, to create the life that we choose? So, I'm just going to take a moment to ground. Ever since we were younger, we were told to perceive the world in the way that our parents showed us, in the way they saw life. Not always 100% the truth. The way we're brought up is based on our parents' perspective and our parents' trauma and our parents' fear. So when we become older, we start to perceive life a certain way. We start to perceive people a certain way. And they don't teach us in school how to connect to our emotions, how to acknowledge who we are personally as a human conscious being. It's like straight into this is this, and this is your future. But really, what should be taught is learning who we are, what our purpose is, and why we're here on earth. So already we're just brought up not fully aware and connected to ourselves, not fully understanding our feelings. Yeah, we're not fully being shown to acknowledge ourselves and not fully know who we are. And I feel like in order to fully embody who we are, we need to know who we are with confidence, with compassion, with love, with understanding our emotions and our feelings. We are not taught from a young age to fully feel, acknowledge, and be aware of these emotions, because our emotions are in constant energy and motion. That's what emotion stands for. Emotions are in a constant cycle of flow. Just like Mother Earth, everything is connected in a cycle, in a flow. But we are not taught that because our parents were not taught that. These are all cycles of emotions that we need to live with for the rest of our lives, because that is our purpose on this earth, is to feel every feeling, sensorial, emotionally, physically, spiritually, even our five senses. Those are feelings: seeing, touching, smelling. It's all feelings that is in this 3D world. It's all sensations, it's all colors, vibrations. And that is our purpose on this earth, is to fully be present with where we are now. And I know our brain will make us think of the past, will fear us for the future. But let me tell you, that is scientifically proven to be already wired into our brains to think about the past, to think about the future. But if you can really be aware of those thoughts when you're thinking those thoughts and being like, I acknowledge these thoughts, but I don't want to think these thoughts anymore. Because everybody has thoughts. Like, we have at least 100,000 or maybe more thoughts a day. So it's like, how can we not separate, not just detach, but be aware of the thoughts that come into our brain, like water? Like, imagine it flowing through water. Like, the thought comes, okay, I acknowledge you, now you can go, and then it leaves. And just looking at every thought as a wave of water. and not holding on to these thoughts, not letting these thoughts dictate our emotions and our feelings, even though we are human, so it can. It all starts with acknowledging our emotions and changing the way we perceive things, changing our perspective on life to fully be aware of who we are. Also, I cut my hair. I did it myself. Thank you very much. So yeah, everything is a perspective. If you take in how many people are on this earth, there is billions of perspectives and realities being lived right now. And sometimes we limit ourselves because we're scared. But if you really take in, like, life is a journey. Our emotions and feelings ultimately shape our reality, our physical reality that we see, and our inner reality that we feel. So making the conscious shift of changing our feelings and emotions, for example, like judgment, fear, and jealousy are all negative frequencies, negative emotions. Now, if we looked at every day, every thought, every feeling with judgment, with fear, and with jealousy, especially to our outer world, we would be in such a low vibration because those emotions bring negative energy. For example, if we fear getting kidnapped or killed from traveling, we will never travel. We will never leave our home. If we felt judgment towards people making a career or business for themselves, then we will live in judgment of other people. But really, we're all reflections of each other. So it's like, why are we lowering ourselves? Why are we bringing negative energy, negative emotions, when we're all literally reflections of one another? You are a reflection of me, and I'm a reflection of you. If there's something you don't like in someone, look back and say, maybe this is something I don't like in myself. For example, if someone is being loud and confident and you look at them and you judge them, are you really judging them because of who they are? Or are you judging them because you can't be like that, because you're not like that, because you want to be like that? So it's like really analyzing these emotions, these feelings we get when we get triggered by something, when we feel a certain way about something. It's like, why do we feel this way? And that comes with every emotion. Like, there's duality in everything. For example, like masculine energy, feminine energy, happy, sad, excited, fearful. When I ask myself, who am I? Who am I? And I went to a Buddhist temple for a meditation class, and we did a walking meditation and a sitting meditation as well. In this sitting meditation, you don't close your eyes fully. You just look like in front of you and just staring at one perspective, one viewpoint. The meditation question was, who am I? Okay, close your eyes and really ask yourself, who am I? 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 And what comes up for me is, I'm a conscious being. I am creative. I am sexy. I am powerful. I am human. I am a human being having a soulful experience. I am aware. I am loving. But then it goes bigger than that. It's like, I am everything but no thing simultaneously. I am the creator of my reality. I am the creator of my heaven on earth. I choose who I am who I am because I am that I choose to be. And every day I'm learning, every day I'm growing, every day I'm changing my perspective. I am changing, I am constantly in a cycle. And we are constantly relearning and rewiring things in your own form, in your own way. You can either choose to stay in the same frequency, in the old frequency, or you can choose to level up and upgrade and become the new frequency that you choose to be. The new frequency is someone who is rewiring their brain, who is aware of their mind. Someone who is just aware, just be aware of who you are. You have only you in this experience. I've learned to not care about what anybody thinks. From somebody who was so anxious, filled with so much anxiety, with so much insecurity. That was the younger version of me. But the older you get, I feel like the more aware you become of who you are, the more aware you become of who you are mentally, physically, and emotionally, and spiritually. It's a big one. Because that is a part of the human experience. Fully feeling and knowing who we are. Unless you don't choose, and that's why, some people go into different routes and try to ultimately escape this existence because they're not fulfilled, they're not happy with their life. There is another way. There is more to life, and trust me, life is beautiful. Even though you've been through traumas, what matters is here right now, what's in front of you, what you feel. Let's say we didn't have these traumas. Let's say we didn't have these fears and we were just the person we are right now. And we really we're reborn. Every day we are being rebirthed and reborn into a new perspective of life. If you choose that path, of course. But let's say I heard this from his name's Neo on Spotify, Neo Knowledge, something like that. But he said, which I relate to, and I definitely agree with, it's all a frequency, but if you give the vibration of Mondays being that you hate Mondays, saying, oh, Mondays are the worst, then Mondays will be a bad day for you. Any little inconvenience on a Monday, you're like, fuck. You're already starting the day off negatively bad. No matter what frequency you're on, the universe will align with your frequency. So if you're having a bad day, more bad things are going to happen because that's the frequency you're already on. If you're trying to change your perspective and you're like, I'm so thankful, I'm so grateful for waking up every day, even if it's Monday, I love life, then the universe's frequency is going to change the aspect of your world. But it's not even just the universe, it is you changing the aspect and your perspective. And it's the universe and the world just following along because you're changing your frequency. Another example, if you're in traffic and you see yourself stuck in traffic and seeing yourself getting pissed off and mad while in traffic, you're calling in that negative frequency. You're calling in that despair, that anxiousness. But why not see having traffic as I'm meant to be here for a reason, I'm being slowed down for a reason, or just allowing you to acknowledge the present moment, acknowledge stillness, acknowledge the uncomfortableness, being in stillness in the uncomfortableness, and just seeing life like that, even seeing negative things happen as a blessing. I just want to let everybody know that it's okay to have these cycles of emotions and feelings. We will not be happy every day. eternally for the rest of our lives on Earth. No, 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 honey. This is a cycle of emotions, just like Mother Earth's in her cycle of winter, spring, fall, and summer. We are also in these cycles of feelings and emotions. Everything is in a secular cycle. Nature, the moon cycle, women's menstrual cycles, our bodies, and even just us aging. And we're getting older. We're in this cycle of rebirth, birthing, existing, and then dying. And then it's a cycle. New people are being reborn every second, every minute. People are dying every second, every minute. It's all a cycle of life, death, rebirth, and transformation. Let me give an example of transformation. A caterpillar. A caterpillar morphs into a butterfly. It goes into its cocoon once it's eaten enough, once it's lived enough, and then it goes into its morphing caterpillar phase, and then it comes out and it becomes a butterfly. Now, I read this book called You Are the Medicine. It basically speaks of how butterflies don't know if they're going to turn into a butterfly. They don't know that they're going to morph into a butterfly. It's already in their DNA and in their cells and in their genes that this transformation of morphing is going to happen. But what they do is they surrender and they trust in the universe. They trust in their cyclical process. They are not told that they will morph into a butterfly. They just surrender and trust in the flow of the present moment of life. It's just naturally engraved into their cells, into their DNA. Just like with us humans, our purpose, our soul being, is already engraved into our cells, into our DNA, of just fully embodying who we are, but we come with the mind, we are obviously more advanced than a caterpillar, but that just means we're so much more powerful than a caterpillar. So imagine all the stuff we can manifest and transform into reality from our perspective and really just change ourselves. We can wake up tomorrow and be a different person, see the world differently, breathe differently, love differently. But just like Mother Earth, she's a tool to help us connect deeper with ourselves. Really, where it begins is within ourselves. As I was saying, there's all these tools around us that can help us connect deeper with ourselves. But really connecting deeper with ourselves is going within. Going truly within. Our mind is so powerful that we used to be able to telepathically communicate with each other. And even to this day, there's people are telepathically able to move things with the power of their mind and their energy of their hands. But we're like limited to this 3D matrix world that we don't have our full ascended powers. But there is levels to this shit, baby. There is levels, and this level is a dense 3D matrix. That's why there's gravity. That's why there's masculine and feminine. When ultimately masculine and feminine, good and bad, is all a sacred union in one in different dimension, in the higher dimensions. In this dimension, we have the duality of the sun and the moon, the good and the bad, the yin and the yang. It's all a duality. Even though they're separate from each other, they're not actually separate from each other. There is oneness in everything. There is oneness with existence and with ourselves. And I feel like that's our ultimate purpose of reaching our highest self, is finding the oneness within ourselves, within the outer self. Every day I am perceived with new people who think differently, who view the world differently, who ultimately say things I wouldn't agree with. It's all oneness. And I love everybody unconditionally. Loving everybody unconditionally. For example, let's say a mother. This is the kind of love I'm talking about. And I've heard this many times before, so it's just stuck really in my brain. But for example, a mother, she has 2 kids. She has one that is like a godly saint, you know, lawyer, whatever it may be in your books. And then you have the bad child who's perceived as bad, who, let's just say, murdered somebody, is a drug dealer, whatever the case may be. But she still loves them. She loves them both equally and unconditionally, meaning we need to love our enemies unconditionally. We need to love the worst of the worst people unconditionally, because ultimately, we're all one. We're all connected. We're all connected into one source, but we're just split in billions and billions of fragments, just like ourselves and our DNA that is within us is fragments of pieces split into billions and billions of pieces. Now that I'm getting older, I realize compassion and love for everybody is the ultimate greatest feeling for me. I never, in my grown years, never want to make anybody feel like that. I never want anybody to feel less than, to feel like I'm superior, because we're all equal. We are all equally connected as a human species. So why do we feel entitled to put people down or find it weird to be a good person? I just don't understand that. Why is it so wrong to follow our heart? Why is it so wrong to feel with our heart? Instead, you're doing the opposite. You're becoming more disconnected from yourself when you don't fully embody and feel what your heart wants. Last week, I was so out of it, like, didn't feel good in my body. I was aware of this. I'm like, I'm just gonna sit with these emotions because there's nothing. I mean, there's a lot that I can do, but I'm aware that these negative emotions of sadness, well, even then, I feel like, who's to say sadness is negative? Because it's all oneness. So sadness is just a vibration, but it's like, do you change your whole perspective and your whole day of thinking everything is sad? No, I don't. I just don't feel as, I don't love myself as much, but that's okay too, because we go through these cycles. But back to what I was saying, last week I felt very disconnected from myself, didn't really feel the best, and I was coming off my period. But then June 1st, Saturday, I was like, no, Sunday, yeah, the sun was out, and I just felt so much I just felt so much love in my heart again. Like the kind of love in your heart that makes you want to cry. And today I was driving home from my lunch and I felt so much love in my heart and I cried. But like real life tears of happiness and just this feeling of so much love within me, so much gratitude for who I am within myself. No matter the exterior, yes, the sun was shining, the sky was beautiful, the trees are so green and beautiful. That adds to it, of course, but in that moment, I just felt so much love within me. No matter where I am right now, I'm right where I need to be. Even though I'm not in Peru, you know, I'm not in Peru or traveling the world. I'm here at home, working my 9 to 5, and I'm happy. I know this is temporary. Everything is temporary. Our reality is temporary. If you really take in, our reality is temporary. What we experienced this morning, today, yesterday, the day before, we'll never get that back. So why not be present within every single day of your life? Why not just enjoy what you're feeling in the moment? even if it's anger, even if it's sadness, even if it's happiness, if it's excitement, if it's a heaviness on our chest, if we feel like we're light, floating, embrace all the emotions in the present moment. I feel like that's what life is about. Embracing every feeling, emotion that is in the present moment. Because the more we stay stuck on the past and the future, it's like added thoughts that don't bring stillness, that don't bring awareness into us, and sometimes don't even bring in happiness because we're overthinking about things that don't even matter just because we want something to think about. Like it's so hard for us just to be in stillness in our thoughts. Tell me why? I think we were just wired like that. But once we find inner stillness, inner peace, baby, that's when we're fully just like present. Even though we're always present, but really acknowledging your an awareness to your presence. Even though this reality is temporary, being a human is only going to be temporary. Like literally YOLO. You only live once. So why the fuck are we limiting ourselves? Why are we wanting to perceive? Oh, you know why too? Because our trauma, our past, we are so stuck on this emotion, on this feeling that it fills us. It fills the void, but the void needs to be filled. The void and emptiness we feel within inside of us is meant to be filled with love and presence. Just like I said before, our trauma, our past, our parents showed us unhealthy forms of how to love or how to deal with situations, how to love ourselves, because we're all reflections of ourselves. We see them, how they treat themselves, how they treat other people, and our brains are sponges at that age. The next topic, ego. Is there even such thing as ego, or did we make up the ego? Is there even such thing as ego, or do we title a certain identity of weight? If we give a name to the identity, a negative identity, we become the negative identity. Ego, I feel like if you're not aware, from my perspective, is like people's own emotions, people's own unhealed traumas and fears. That's the ego. We make the ego from our existence, from our everything we've been through, everything we've gone through, everything we experience, everything we perceive, everything we soak in, from our phones to our parents, everything we learn from the macrocosm of the world. That's what makes up the ego. But we are not the ego. The ego is not us. Ego doesn't even exist unless you allow it to exist. Ultimately, nothing exists unless we allow it to exist. Ultimately, we have so much free will, but we are scared of the limitations, of the judgment, of the fears, of the outer perspective, of the inner fear of not knowing that we're truly capable. But let me tell you, you are truly capable of doing whatever the fuck you want to do. Even for myself, I'm truly capable of doing whatever I want to do. I am capable of feeling how I want to feel, doing what I want to do. If I want to buy a plane ticket and move to Peru tomorrow or right now, I can. If I want to go rob somebody's house, I can, but don't do that, please. I'm just saying, like, you have free will to be and do whoever the fuck you want to be. And who gives a fuck, a flying fibber jabber fuckity fuck about what the next door neighbor is gonna say, about what your mom is gonna say, about what your grandma is gonna say? Who cares what they're gonna say? Because the only one who matters is you. You're living your reality, you're living your perspective. So why are you dimming your light because of somebody else's fears and insecurities? And even for myself, I'm learning that too. I don't care if someone likes me or perceives me a certain way, because that's your perception. I know who I am. I feel what I feel. I'm living in my own body. I know who the fuck I am. And I don't care what you think or feel of me. And I'm so glad because it's taken me such a long time to come to this perspective. We don't really take account how far we've come. We just see the negatives in like where we are. But look at all the positives that I've done, that you've done. We've come so far. We've grown and learned so far. We've changed and become more of ourselves than ever. But same, like we're programmed to look at the negatives, just look at the negatives, but baby, if the negatives outweigh more than the positive, then something needs to change within you. If you feel bad about what you're doing, if you don't feel right, if your instinct is telling you, then something needs to change, and the only person that can change it is yourself. Ultimately, if you're beating up yourself about it, then change it. Or learn how to sit with the uncomfortableness. Or continue in the same cycle that doesn't make you feel good. It's truly up to you how you want to live your life. Who you want to be. It's all up to you. And take with that as you will. We choose the friends we want. We choose the lifestyle we want. We choose the way we want to live. We choose the food we want to put into our body. It's all a choice. So it's like, are you making the conscious choice to better yourself? Or are you making a choice that is based on traumas and fears from your old identity, from the old frequency? And I won't lie, I'm not perfect. Something I'm working on is being more organized. Hey, I deal with that. We're all working on something, okay? No one's perfect. Nobody's perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. The only perfect thing is someone who is aware of themselves. That's being perfectly perfect. We're all perfectly perfect, baby. We're all perfectly perfect in our own way. Like today, I chose to wear what I wear, sit where I sat, knowing the consequences. There will be bare people walking around me, but I said, I don't give a fuck. And slowly and more surely, I'm becoming more comfortable with this uncomfortableness. So once we begin to sit with the uncomfortableness, we become more comfortable. And just like that, we can also force our energy for people to get the fuck out of our way and move from our eyesights. But also, peace, love, happiness. The message for today's conscious conversation is you have the ability to change and rewire your mind. You have the ability to change your perspective. You have the ability to become who you want to be and feel what you want to feel. It's really all up to you and me and I, because ultimately we are all one conscious being. And when we heal ourselves, we heal another. And when we heal another, we heal multiple. And it's just a ripple of healing, because what happens here, have you heard the butterfly effect? A butterfly flaps her wings, and not only is she creating ripples within, not as only is she being able to fly, but she's creating ripples within the ocean, just like the moon. The moon controls the waves of the ocean. That huge thing is controlled by that huge thing, and it's all a cycle. That affects that, and then that affects that, and then it all affects us, and then the moon affects woman. Everything is connected. We're all connected as a conscious human race, and we're all soul beings having a human experience. So do with that as you will, be with that as you may be, and feel with that as you may feel, because that's what it's all about. Using our senses in this present moment, using our senses to feel, see, smell, touch, experience. As always, I would love to end this video in a little meditation, placing your hand on your heart, breathing in through your nose, and as you breathe out, imagining the air coming out of your heart chakra. As you breathe in, imagining the air coming in through your heart chakra. Remembering to unclench your jaw. and focusing on the middle point of your third eye. You are right where you need to be. Your emotions and feelings are valid. You are meant to go through cycles and waves, just as the ocean, just as the waves. We are meant to be in a cyclical cycle of being, of creating, of being human, of emotions. You are right where you need to be. You create your reality. You have free will. You are filled with so much love and compassion. And you are guided and protected by God, by Source. Trust in yourself, trust in your vision, trust in your heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You can open your eyes now. Every time I come out of a meditation, everything is just so much more beautiful. It's like HD. My reality is eternally HD, and I'm so grateful. Have a lovely day, guys.